In the previous lesson, we added a couple of images to our presentation. One was a piece of clip art, the other one a picture that you see here on slide 5 of our current presentation. Now it's time to manipulate those images to change their look or feel for our presentation. So we're going to continue working with Intro 7a here, but if you're skipping to this lesson, no problem. Go to your Office button, click Open, and from the Lesson 7 folder of your exercise files, choose Intro 7b and click Open, and you'll be all caught up. Okay, so we were on slide 5, but we're going to start with our piece of clip art on our first slide. So go ahead and click on slide number 1. So right now, if you look up at the ribbon, at least on my screen, you can see I've got the usual stuff here from the Home tab. Nothing really that's going to help me with adjusting my image. But if I click on the image itself, look what happens up here above the Format tab. I've got Picture Tools kind of showing up at the top. So if I click on that, I'm going to get all of my picture tools that will help me adjust the look and feel of this particular piece of clip art. Alright, so let's go up here to the ribbon and just look at the Adjust group for a second. We're going to come back to this when we work with our digital image to change the brightness, the contrast, maybe even recolor it. Compressing and changing pictures, etc. is much more useful when you're working with images such as digital photos. Now, picture styles, where we've got some different borders and shading, and then we've got picture effects and shapes and so on, does come in handy when we're working with clip art. So our piece of clip art right now is just inserted the way it appeared when we selected it from the clip art pane over here. By the way, when you're done inserting clip art, you can come up to this little X and close that up. So with our clip art selected, let's just go up to some of these picture styles and let's just hover over some of these borders. You can see here's a simple frame. Now as we do that, we see right on the slide itself a live preview of what that might look like if we were to select this. I kind of like the metal frame, not bad. Here you can see we've got a shadow, bit of a reflection. This one looks like it might have softer edges. Yeah. Now if you don't like any one of those in particular, you can see more by clicking this little drop down just to the right of the last one. Give that a click and you'll see there's a whole bunch more to choose from here. I kind of like this one, rotated with a white border around it. There's just a white border, and you can see this one's got a diagonal snip on the corner. Here's an oval shape where you got some soft edges. Kind of cool with a black bevel around the outside plus a reflection. Kind of neat. So lots of different options. I'm going to go up to this one here, which is our rotated white option, and give it a click. I'm going to deselect my clip art now to see what that looks like. Very cool. I'm going to go back to it, click back on it, and I get all of my picture tools back. And let's just go up to Picture Effects now and click this drop down. And let's give it a shadow as well. So if we go down to shadows, you can see we've got a number of outer shadows to choose from that will kind of lift it off the page. We've got some inner ones as well, which is not as useful with our particular piece of clip art. And then we've got perspective. I kind of like this one down here, this very first one. Under perspective, we'll give it a click. And let's deselect to see what that looks like. Ah, very neat. Perfect. All right, so let's go down to slide 5 now, where we have our digital image. So this image right now, if we click on it, you can see we get our picture tools showing up at the top again. And because it's a digital image, it's actually a JPEG image, some of these under the Adjust group are going to come in very handy, such as brightness, contrast, and recolor. Let's start there. Let's adjust the brightness. Now, the higher the number, obviously the brighter it's going to be. So up here at the top, plus 40 is a very bright image, and you can see it gets less and less bright as I move down towards normal. Obviously, the other way is going to be darker. So I'm going to go up here to plus 20. I kind of like that right there. Next, we'll adjust the contrast. With the extra brightness, we might be losing some of the contrast. You can see plus 40 is a very high contrast level. And as we go in the opposite direction, you can see how it just kind of gets softened a lot. So I'm going to go up here to plus 30 and give that a click. Now let's recolor it. So we'll go to the recolor option here, give it a click. One option is not to recolor it at all. So over here, if I hover over no recolor, you can see what happens. My image goes back to where we started. Under color modes, you can see we've got black and white or grayscale. We've got a sepia tone. And over here, we've got kind of a washed out. Then we got some dark variations where we've got some accented colors like this kind of bluey color here. There's a bit of an orangey green, Lots of different options, accent colors. Under dark variations, we've also got light variations of the same thing. Okay, I kind of like this one right here. I'm going to go with the second one in under light variations, accent 1, and give that a click. Excellent. The only thing else that might be nice with this is to soften the edges around the outside so it kind of blends into the slide. So let's go up here now to Picture Effects. We already went down to Shadow with our clip art. You can see we've also got reflections to choose from, glows, which are around the outside of our image. Then we've got soft edges. We're going to come back to that in a second. We can do bevels as well. So if we want to give a 3D appearance to our image, we could do that. And then we've got some rotations under 3D rotation as well to make it look totally different. But we're going to come back up here to soft edges. Right now the default of no soft edges is selected, but as we move down, you can see it gets softer and softer around the outside. And I kind of like that. 25 points right there. We'll give that a click. We'll deselect our image to see what it looks like, and I think we're done. Alright, so both clip art and pictures, we can make adjustments to each of those using some of the same tools to adjust borders, brightness, contrast, that kind of stuff. The next thing we're going to do is actually draw our own objects.